They have made the right choice, WWE. It may have just been because they were sort of forced to, but end of the day, they did make the right choice. So that's all I have to say about that. We're gonna move on, and lo and behold, I actually have a guest this week, and it's a guest that I've been trying to get on the show for a little while now. I think it's over a month since the first time that we tried to schedule this interview, but he canceled because of medical reasons. I canceled because I fucked up my schedule. So finally, me and Mr. Karim Harara sitting down, having a good time, just having a chat. And that's going to take up the rest of the show. You'll hear from me on the other end with the normal outro business, but the next 20 minutes or whatever, 40 minutes is probably more accurate. The math is hard. That's going to be me and Kareem. So right after this. Yeah, I mean it's still really like fabricated because we're sitting here. There's microphones in our faces and pop filters and stuff like that. But it's as natural as we can possibly make it as a couple of guys just sitting. Shit, how long have we known each other? Like 4 years?
I'm gonna say 4 years. I was just gonna say 4 years.
Yeah, because there was that like magical that magical day that you walked up to my desk and
yes.
And it was when we both were still sort of smoking on the regular.
That's right.
Now it's just special occasions or Tuesdays.
I remember you were right excited, and I said, "Hey, do you have a break coming up?" And we realized both that we're smoking the same kind.
Yeah,
the menthols. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the Peter Jacksons. And like I didn't always smoke the Peter Jacksons. Like I would always go for like whatever I could get the cheapest, and they just didn't have next that day.
Yeah.
So like it was just like it was weird like kismet thing going on there.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, it was really cool. And
that was our thing. I think we connected in smoking. Unfortunately, smoking is bad. Don't smoke out there, guys.
Yeah. So I already said this on the intro, but Karim Harara here with me, finally.
Hey.
We finally hooked this up. It's like...
Finally, it's happening.
Third time the charm.
It's happening. I am here.
So, yeah, I just wanted to, like... This was sort of like my original idea for the show, and this is the first time that I'm doing this live and in person. But my original idea for the show was just like hanging out with a buddy and having a couple of beverages.
For sure.
And
why
just
not?
Chit-chatting about life.
Let's
so, like, we're hitting the coffee.
That's what we call it now, the coffee.
Yeah. Well, doing a couple mic tests and Kareem almost called it coffee. So that was a good time. So yeah, it's been like 4 years we've known each other, and it's like, it's funny. Cause like, I feel like I get these relationships and these friendships with guys.
Yes.
But like, and you get drips and drabs of each other's lives.
Sure.
But you don't necessarily get the full picture.
That's right. That's right.
And like, maybe there's going to be things that we're going to talk about, I'm sure, that are like stuff that I kind of already knew.
Sure.
But it's, I kind of want to get the full measure of the man.
All right. So how long do we have for the show?
But as long as you want, baby. It's St. Patty's Day tomorrow. Today's Steve Austin Day.
Oh yes, 3/16.
Oh hell yeah! Oh man,
I was watching a stunner.
I was watching some of the old stuff like today earlier on the WWE Network, and it's just like it's hard to remember. Like it's hard to realize. Like it's amazing to sort of remember that. Like, and I've already talked about wrestling on this show, and like I know not all of you out there are wrestling fans, so we won't go too deep into this, but. Man, he was on a different level. Like he was, like I don't know if you have any memory of this at all. Like I don't know, but like at his peak, he was like right in the fucking like.
Who, Steve Austin?
Yeah,
he was an animal.
Well, yes, like and like everyone, like I was watching it was him, and it was just after like Iron Mike Tyson had come to the WWF.
That's right.
And he had been at the Royal Rumble the night before, and it was the Monday Night Raw afterwards, and it was the big confrontation, like Steve Austin and Mike Tyson eye to eye in the ring, baddest man on the planet next to the toughest SOB, right? The toughest son of a bitch, as Stone Cold said himself. And like just like that fucking moment, like what, 20 years later.
That's right.
20 years later, still has this amazing magnetism to it. Like, and that's shit. I love that. Getting off topic here. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah. So I want to talk about sort of your life. Mm-hmm. I think you've had an interesting one.
I think so. I'd like to think so.
Well, I want to see what brought you to this chair. So, where were you born?
I was born in a town called Ajman in the UAE. That's pretty much the next town over from Dubai. Okay. Dubai, everyone knows what Dubai is.
Yeah.
So same country.
Big tower.
Yes. I was born there.
So, you were born there. Like, so how big is that town? Like,
it's actually considered a state.
Oh, really?
It's one of the 7 emirates in that make up that country, the United Arab Emirates.
Right.
So I was born there. It's it's not bad, but of course you have like Dubai next door. So again, I was born in the early '80s, so Dubai was not as what you'd think of it now when you Google those pictures and you see all the crazy projects that they have there. So it wasn't like that, but yes, it was still glamorous from within that country, but it was not as glamorous as what it is now.
Okay, so like how big would that town, like the town that you were in or the city you were in, how big would your like community be?
I was, I would say it's as big as little, just about the HRM.
Okay, so like HRM. Not a small place, but not huge.
Not huge. It's certainly not huge.
Okay, so were you the baby? I feel like you were the baby. Were you?
I was the baby.
Okay,
I was the baby in the family. Yeah.
All right. How was that? Because I'm like the middle kid, right? Like
well,
I'm both the middle kid and the oldest. Like it's weird like dichotomy for me. So
if you want to talk about pros and cons of being the baby in a family, a lot of people would agree it has its perks. Sure, my mother, I'd like to think that she loved me the most. I thought I like to think that I got away with a lot of things. Maybe most of my siblings, but I was also the smallest. Like physically, I was a very small child, so it was difficult, when everybody was playing around and I couldn't fit in.
Okay. So how long were you there?
I was born there and I was there until, I don't know, when I was 10, 11 years old.
Okay.
So that's about it.
10, 11, and then you went where?
Canada. We immigrated to Canada, yes.
So did you land in Halifax or?
Halifax.
Okay, and you've sort of been here pretty much ever since?
Ever since. I traveled around, of course. I've lived in the States, but it's not enough to kind of take away from the experience of landing in Halifax. I consider Halifax my hometown now.
Right.
It's my new home. It's my home.
Yeah, so you landed and dealt with ISIS.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Do you remember that? So ISANS, I think I talked about this on the show before, but ISANS as it is now,
yes,
used to be called ISIS.
That's right. I caught on to that.
Until like 2015. I caught on to that, Jesus.
I watched the news, so.
Oh my God.
You have to. You kind of have to. I mean, you live in this world, so you have to keep up with what's happening, right?
It's hard. Like
it's difficult on the head. Sometimes you see some headlines and it's like, why is this? But, I'm only one person. I can't change the world.
So, like, we're jumping ahead of here a little bit, but this is something like I've never asked you about this before. And this is like, I'm sorry if I'm putting you on the spot in terms of like,
well, let's find out.
Microphone or whatever. But like, maybe you want to hit the piano chord here. But like, what is it like as like a person of color and an Arabic Canadian, a Muslim
living here?
Like, in the climate that we have right now, like,
look, I'm going to be honest. I can't say it's black and white. It's not. I can't tell you exactly how I feel because it changes, and it should, because I meet people every day, be it at the bus stop, be it on my way to work, on my way home, at the grocery store. Everyone is going to treat you different.
Right.
right now, like my mentality right now of how I feel about what I am is different than how I felt about what I am 10 years ago. And certainly, when I was a teenager, I did not care who I was. I thought I was the shit. I was it, right? So the answer changes with time. But right now, I don't think it impacts me. I don't see myself as a target. I don't see myself as that bad guy. I think I'm treated well, and I treat others well. And I think, the overall community, we're good people. There's good people here. And I think I have to focus on that.
Fair enough.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, it's just something I've always been curious about because, like, I mean, like, you're really like you're a gregarious. I talk for a living.
Yes.
That's what I do as a job is talk. I have a podcast. We're gonna blame this on the whiskey.
I thought it was coffee.
We're keeping all of this in. Just. I've always wondered because you're a very gregarious guy. You're like the life of the party, and
thank you.
Really great friend of mine.
Thank you.
Been for a very long time now. But like I always wonder because like I mean like cards on the table. I'm a middle class white dude. I'm right. Like
at this age, I've reached the level of what do they call the new kids call it? XP points. I have enough XP points to not really see race anymore. I don't see myself as a different race than my neighbor anymore. It's something that I honestly don't think about. I don't say someone is doing something because of that or I have to do something because I don't think of that way at all. I can't even finish a sentence because I don't know what to say because it's something I've never thought about. So
I mean, hey, fair enough. Like I mean,
yeah, I don't think of it that way anymore.
Yeah. So what was you had your first 10 years, like what do you remember of that in
a lot
in your home country? Like
I do remember
well, not your home country because I guess you called this your home, but like where
I was
born.
UAE. Sure. Yeah. I remember I did good in school. I remember that. I was a good student in school. I cared about going to school and making friends and just generally getting good marks. I really cared about that. And also, I don't know if you knew that, but back there, they teach you English starting grade 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I did very well in that. And I actually, when I landed here, I was already speaking English with an accent. They teach you the British accent over there. But
that sneaks in every once in a while with your speech.
It kind of went away now.
Every once in a while, like I know that you've been here for 20 plus years, but
right.
Every once in a while
it might come back.
Yeah, like there'll be a certain word that'll just sneak in, just a little lilt. It's funny.
That's funny. What I do for a living now is I talk to people on the phone. They think I'm from Montreal, so it's funny that you say that.
See, it's funny. They always like we work in the same place, and like I try and keep away from mentioning where we work because we have we don't have to. Yeah, we have a confidentiality agreement. And
sure.
Blah 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 blah. But like they always immediately pick up. Oh, you're Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I always say is like, yeah, I'm originally from Canada, which is technically true.
Yeah. I caught myself. I know I say house instead of house. I say house out. I'm emphasizing it a little bit here, but I know it comes out. See, now I'm saying out because
it's on your mind now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So, but,
I know the one for me is like I'll have that classic Canadian lilt.
Yeah.
Where like I'll just sort of talk like this, and like especially like if I'm like on a phone call for like 20 plus minutes, which don't happen that often for me, but like. Like I'll just be like, you do this and then you do that. Like it's just like that classic sort of. It's more of an Ontario thing, I think, more than anything else, because like we have our own little thing here in the Maritimes.
Right,
but, like,
we do.
That seems to come out more than anything else. Come out.
Exactly.
More than anything else when I'm on the phone. It's when I'm tired or when I've had one too many coffees.
Coffees, everybody.
So you move here. Around age 10.
I'm in school. I go to school. That was a little bit nerve-wracking. I immediately tried to find friends that I can relate to. I was very nervous. The first couple of years in school was nerve-wracking, I have to be honest. But, once you find the music room in your school, and especially your